This is already shitting the bed. It's recording on here. I'm turning this. This one.
Your phone probably just can't handle it because you're not used to it.
And then this is mine. So this is gigantic.
How's everything else?
I think everything else is fine. All right, let's just get started. Hey, welcome everybody to the Sex Actually podcast. As always, your host Dave, Neal, Tasha, Courtney, co-host, and Delanie Fischer. How are you today?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm doing well. We met like 2 days ago.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Very briefly,
Yeah.
I got to watch you do stand-up in a live taping of your podcast,
Yes.
Self-helpless.
Nailed it.
Self-helpless?
Yeah, self-helpless. You
There
got
go.
it. Yeah.
Are you a self-help guru? Is that?
Dude, I'm addicted to reading self-help books. And
You guys are twins in that way.
You are too? You're
We were
really into
separated
it?
at birth. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Codependent No More?
Yeah.
That's a big one.
I haven't read that one
Yeah,
yet,
that's
but
a
I
real
hear
sad
it's
one.
good.
That's like not the first one you go to when you go self-help. That's
Oh,
when like
man.
nothing else worked.
Dude, my first one was It's Called a Breakup Because It's Broken. So I feel like there are sadder books out there.
Tasha, do you know that one?
No.
I've heard
By
of that
Greg
one.
Barron, actually, who we had on the show recently,
gosh,
which was
that's
really
amazing.
cool. It was cool to meet him after like reading his words
Oh,
that
I want
helped
the
me when I was
secondhand
19.
info from you.
What did
he tell you?
It was just
You
like
read it when you were 19? That was your first one?
my first one ever. I went through an awful breakup, as happens,
Yeah.
and it helped me, get through a really shitty time. Can I say shitty on this?
You can
Yes,
say
you
whatever
can.
you want.
Fantastic.
No
Cockball suck.
FCC in here.
Yeah, read the book, and it had some good advice in there. Just basically, kind of distract yourself until it's better, mostly. Then
That's a great... Stay busy.
stay busy was a big one, and it ended up being great. But it was funny talking to him about the book. 'Cause it was like, I wrote it with my friend. It was kind of something I fell into. I was like, okay.
And you're like, no, I was crying on these pages.
We're depending on your every word.
Yeah, it was great.
Isn't it funny, though? You find exactly what you need when you need it. Like, you found that at 19's pretty young, I think,
I was
to
desperate,
dabble in the
dude.
self-help
Yeah,
world.
like when you're just so desperate to feel better that you'll try anything. And so it's not
yeah.
going to... Reading a self-help book isn't going to make you feel worse, usually.
Now, I don't want to age you here. But is
Yeah.
this just look it up online? What's wrong with you?
Oh, the book?
Yeah, when you were going through the heartbreak.
I'm 27, so
Okay.
I was 19, so almost
So
a decade
you had
ago.
WebMD and all that other shit.
Yeah.
But like, who
But
does?
I don't think that it was the era of like blogs and like articles on how to. It was not
Right.
like you just get a HuffPost article about moving on from your ex. Like it was still like the internet was used for like
Right.
school research.
Totally. Like MySpace just ended.
Yeah.
That's when I was like,
now,
what do I
now
do?
you can go on like those threads on Reddit and like firsthand stories. Not that they're really productive, but like you
Right.
can you basically now know everyone goes through that shit. Everyone goes through heartbreak.
Yeah.
When it happens the first time, you go, oh my gosh, this is the worst thing ever.
And you have more online communities than you did back then. Like you said,
Totally.
that was the end of MySpace and the beginning of Facebook.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
You didn't have like groups where you went to like talk about your feelings.
No, you just
Why-
kept that shit inside.
why was it so broken? What happened?
Let's see. Well, it was my first love, my first relationship. We were together on and off for like 4.5 years. So from 17 to 22, basically.
Long time.
17, yeah. So, it was just like
So
normal.
you read it before you were done with him then?
You
Yeah.
didn't learn
I went
anything, did you?
I went back.
They say men don't listen, but I'm doing the math here. I'm like, oh, you read it and then it broke it more. You re-broke.
The book helped for the small break we had until I went back. But then eventually I was really done. It was normal teenage stuff mixed with just...
Were you in college?
We met in high school age. I
Okay.
was 17. He was 18. We met at a pool party in a hot tub. No big deal.
Nice.
Yeah.
The hot tub game.
Real hot move.
Right. Just pour some chlorine on it. It's fine, baby. It's all set. Don't worry about it. Bubbles rise to the top.
Gross.
It was a real gross teenage evening. And he I wish nothing bad for him. He came from a really kind of a tough upbringing. And so I think that contributed to a lot of stuff. And I was a little bit more sheltered. So I think it was just a clash of like being exposed to too much versus not being exposed
Sheltered,
to enough.
religiously or conservative family?
Well, I was kind of in the middle of both. I mean, my dad's side is religious. My mom's side, well, I like Christian and Catholic, both sides, but nobody
Right.
really...
Catholic's not religion.
Nobody takes it
Catholic's
serious.
different. I'm Catholic. It's like my family's spiritual, but Catholic's not a spiritual thing.
Right.
It's
That's
like
just-
the exact opposite of spiritual. It's like you stay away, peace be with you over there,
Right.
and peace be with me.
Have a
over
drink,
here.
take a nap. Yeah. So it was kind of like, I maybe not exposed as far as being like religious, but I think just being exposed to a lot of heartbreak, or my innocence hadn't been like crushed yet. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like he had been exposed to a lot of like, ooh, the world sucks from a really young age, and I hadn't gotten there yet.
Interesting.
And so I think that's where we kind of clashed a lot, where like he was seeing the world for like, oh, really bad things can happen to you. And I was like, everything's great. Don't worry.
Was he like protecting you with his own sort of like cynicism? Was that what?
No,
hey, you don't
he
even
was-
know, because I do that to Tasha. I'm like, you don't even know what guys are thinking when you walk by them. So just like, don't let a guy follow you. Don't talk
As
to a
if
photographer.
I need like coaching on how to deal with.
You know what I mean? But like,
nasty
guys, we know. We're like the magician trying to tell you all the secrets. Like, look, yeah, trust me, he doesn't want to be your writing partner. I mean, I'm sure you were
Right.
probably at least half skeptical coming over our apartment just because I'm like some random guy. I was like, yeah, come do my podcast. Top
No.
floor.
You seem like a nice guy when I met him. Like, yeah, this will be fine. Maybe that's my bad. I should probably think twice. About
Hopefully
like, yeah, I'll
you
go.
have mace in your purse.
I used to, and then I threw it out because I kept it for so long, and thank God I didn't have to use it. So I feel like it probably went bad at some point.
Yeah, you don't want it to like
Right.
not have that spurt. It just kind of like dribbles onto your finger.
I've never thought about that. I've had mine for a long time. Maybe
probably
it's
get a
time
new
to
one.
get a new.
Stock up.
Tasha's
Get
Kentucky.
fresh.
She's got
Stock
knives,
up.
mace. She's literally walked through the airport with so much shit in her bag, and then afterwards she's like, "Whoops."
Oh my God.
Yeah, I mean, every once in a while they catch something and take it away from me. But honestly, I mean, I'm not trying to shit on TSA, but I've gotten many knives through the airport accidentally.
Wow.
Not on purpose, but
Wow,
accidentally.
TSA, step in your game, man.
now I'm
shit.
getting extra pat downs every time I go to the airport
Yeah.
because I just said that.
Tell you, they'll pay you down.
Yeah, I could never find my what do you call it, mace when I could never
Needed
find
it.
it in my purse. So like,
You're supposed to be on the trigger with it when you're walking. That's
Yeah.
what they say, right?
right, and I like, oh my God, even if I was getting attacked right now, I have no idea where this fucking thing is. So I
Yeah,
just
my
have to-
purse is like Mary Poppins bag. It's like
Yeah.
a bottomless pit.
She's got a kettle ball, just a swinging kettle ball. I bought it. I bought like the most extra leather sort of like strong, and now she can just jam more shit into it, which is like a bad idea.
Oh,
but
man.
so like, cause what's the feminist response to having to put your finger on mace as you walk down the street? Aren't you supposed to say like, oh, it's not the woman's fault, blah blah blah? But like, is that just a realistic approach?
Okay, I read something interesting the other day, and this is a tiny bit of a side note, but since this whole like Harvey Weinstein, Me Too movement,
Yeah.
there's been a lot of like men's rights guys online saying things like, well, not just women get raped, men get raped too. Absolutely true.
Right.
But men, do you evaluate your outfit before you leave the house every day and wonder if it's asking for it?
Right.
Do you get scared and cross the street at night when you're walking alone? Do you think about having mace on your body at all times?
Totally.
No, like that's something that like is our experience every single day. Like, what's your game plan if something was going to go wrong? A woman has an answer to that.
Yes.
Because women think about it all the time. It's part of our daily experience. Whereas I don't think that men necessarily have that same, not saying that bad things don't happen to guys. They
I agree with
absolutely
you.
do. Guys are absolutely victims.
Right.
It's not, we're not trying to win the war here. It's just
Yeah.
like we think about this
different.
stuff all the time.
Any man that
Absolutely.
like does the whole like men get raped too, it's like, dude, you just
If
it's
if
like
it's
that's
not your cause when we're not talking about women's rape, then it shouldn't be your cause right now. Like it can be your cause.
It's
Right.
just the all
on-
lives matter thing.
Exactly. I was going to say
And
that.
but they
just-
mean
yeah.
well. That's the thing. It's like they still mean well. They just want to include like, hey, get it. I have a daughter. They mean well.
Right.
So like, I think I don't know if you can somehow sift through the people that mean well versus the people that are just like
Trolling.
"Yeah, we get So because
Yeah.
the trolls, you don't meet very many people in person that would say something like that. Like that's like a litigious online. Like, but we get catcalled. Like I have a joke about a dude jacking off, in the shower, looking at me at a gym.
Good crunch.
Lord.
And I like, it's like I finally get to be the victim in the joke, but it's like, was I scared? No. Was I like 2% violated? 2%.
Yeah.
Were you creeped out? Absolutely.
So, like,
but did you think that he was going to overpower you? Probably
Had
not.
he walked into my shower, that's like an assault because like gay men can be
Right.
strong too. You know what I mean? Like they're way bigger. They're in way better shape.
Was
than
he doing that just like, hey, I'm just gonna jerk off because it's part of my routine, or was he like?
No, he had like
coming
he was
on
like
to
a
you?
peep, like a kind of a peeper.
Whoa.
But I mean, here's the thing: like, I'm not even gonna blame him because I'm sure the right guy looks at him and there's codes, right? They tap their toes, they go in the other room, like they have
Tap their toes.
they have signs out, they have signs.
Just a bunch of knocking.
Well, that's true.
Yeah,
they
it
have
is
signs in the
true.
showers
Anymore.
like no funny business, and it's like
Yeah.
that's because they used to like have classes in there. They would do edging classes where they'd all jack off together.
You say classes, and it makes it sound like it's like put on by Crunch.
It is.
It's not put on by Crunch.
By like people at Crunch. They're like, dude, 2 p.m. You go into the sauna. You knock twice. Tony let you in.
It's like a masturbatory pep rally at LA Fitness.
And I accidentally walk in, and I'm like, hey, folks, how's the... Oh, what the fuck? And, and then I feel bad after I'm Catholic. I'm like, sorry, I hope you finished. I'm really... So...
yeah, that whole thing, I feel like, yes, like you said, men obviously are victims too, but we are usually... men are stronger than us most of the time. Mm-hmm. 9 times out of 10, a guy can just...
Yeah.
So like we're worried about our safety versus you might be creeped out, but like you could probably take the guy.
But it's not something that like affects your daily life. You're not thinking about being a victim on a daily basis. You're not constantly looking over your shoulder or like setting up like an emergency call on a first date. Like you're not doing any of those things that women are always thinking about. Like the burden is on our shoulders, which really I've
been on dates where the girl gets a phone call and she has that decision, and I'm too narcissistic to notice if she's ever left because of that, but I know girls have gotten the phone call like, oh yeah, we're having fun, and they stay. But yeah, I mean, you have to have that 1 hour in moment where it's because you can't say like you're just not interested in the guy. I get it sucks.
Oh geez.
And you sent me that thing like, is it okay to say you have a boyfriend? I mean, what do you
we've talked about this before, how like guys, it makes me so mad. I don't know, why did we get on Tasha's rant subject? I feel like I'm ranting, but like how you can't just turn a guy down and say like, no, thanks, not interested, or like wasn't feeling the vibe, so next time, whatever, like see you around. Because it's so common for girls turning down guys to either A, give a fake number, or B, say they have a boyfriend. It's like, why do we have to stroke your ego just to get away?
If I were single, I'd be so into you. But yeah, no, I get what you're saying.
It's like I'm the only reason I'm unavailable is because I'm owned by another man. Right. No, that's not cool.
The only time I've used that excuse is if I didn't like want to hurt their feelings. So sometimes I feel like it comes from a place I'm like, oh, this is a nice guy.
Love.
I'm just not feeling it at all. Hey, I have a boyfriend. You're nice.
And you're letting him think like, oh, if situations were different, you'd have a chance. When in fact, he probably has no chance.
Right. When I feel like, oh, he'll meet somebody nice, it's just not for me. But I do like if a guy is like he keeps coming on to you and he's not taking that you're not interested for an answer, that's not okay. The fact that like he only listens to you once you say I have a boyfriend and then he walks away, that guy's a fucking asshole.
Now, I know you have a boyfriend.
I do.
Because I saw your stand-up. So just to backtrack, you're a stand-up comedian.
Yeah.
I went to your live taping of the podcast, which I had to leave after Kelsey's set. And Kelsey Cook, she's been, I guess, on the show. And I think Kane has as well, Kelsey's boyfriend.
Cool.
And the whole group. So it's good to get you in here. And it was cool. So you did your stand-up. You were talking about your boyfriend who was in the audience, and I just was thinking, was his family? Was that his family in the audience?
That was my mom was there. So yeah, my mom and my boyfriend were there.
Because I made it about me, and I was sitting right behind them, and I was thinking, what if Tasha was in the audience with her parents? How horrible that would be for me. Have you done stand-up with your boyfriend's parents in the audience?
His mom saw me perform once. Yeah, and it went fine.
Is that the most nerve-wracking thing ever?
His family is so cool. Like, I really mean it. Like, I don't think I've ever been with somebody to where I just immediately love their family and feel very comfortable. So I was fine with it. I just wanted it to be a good show. Like, you never want somebody to see you for the first time and then it just goes wrong.
It's a horrible
as long as you get laughs, it doesn't really matter the material you did because the laughs meant it worked.
Yeah. And
so material,
exactly.
Whatever.
So I was like, I definitely pointed her out because I'm like, I have to say something or else I'm just going to be thinking about it and trying like not to look at her the whole time and stuff like that. I think I ended up saying something like, anyway, so my boyfriend's dick, like kind of just trying to make it seem like it's uncomfortable and then pointing her out. But
can you imagine the other scenario? If I was like, yeah, Tasha's clit. She has very like quiet family.
Yeah, my parents are very reserved.
I wish we could smoke weed with. I'm going to bring the weed this year. TSA's
to what?
Patting us down.
Christmas or something?
Yeah. We need to get our parents high.
And
they're just
it's
too
actually,
polite. There's
it's
no
kind
hugging.
of a shame we didn't do it while they were here because we might have been able to talk them into it. Like, I feel like the illegality of it is maybe part of, they're good people.
We have a B12. Tell about the B12 pen.
Well, let me finish first, but I know my parents were stoners back in the day. I'm not sure of it, but their taste in music says that they were stoners.
Okay, what would they undo?
I don't know,
petty
CCR,
and
just very, I don't know.
I don't think CCR is that popular. You get to give it an acronym.
Creedence Clearwater Revival.
Okay, so it is.
I would have said it the wrong way. I grew up on Amy Grant only music. Single mom, Amy Grant, and Mariah Carey's Christmas. That's all. I had to
nice, just on loop.
So yeah. So anyway. So.
So my parents were here, and Dave bought me these vitamin B12 vapes because I was going through this like lightheaded phase, and a friend of mine told me it was vitamin B, and I should get the drops, and he bought those. And
what a scam! I mean, I think it works well, but it's like it was like $45 for these 3 vape pens. Although we haven't run out of them, we've used them for a while. So you just inhale B vitamins, and it's water based. There's no drug at all. So like I was gonna, I mean,
as far as we know, the FDA they don't make them put all the ingredients on the package. Right. So like we think it's just vitamin B.
So instead of taking a vitamin like a pill, you would do the vape.
If you take like a B12 or a vitamin B pill, you're gonna like pee bright yellow.
It's not because
you don't. It's not like
as soluble.
Yeah.
Your body doesn't absorb it as well. It absorbs it best in like the drop form or through vape. But anyway, so we had my
your mom
try
wouldn't do it, and then I was like, "No, just try it." And I was like, I'm just far enough away from the family where I can be like, "Yeah, try it." Like I was like, kind of hastening her a little bit. Right. Like, come on, there's nothing in it. Blah blah blah. And then she tried it, and then like Tasha's got like a 16-year-old brother who's like, "Mom," so they were making this whole thing out of it because the connotation is like you're vaping something bad, but it's like what it's mist.
Well, right. Yeah, but when they think of vaping, they just think of like idiot teenagers. Yeah. Like
that's so opposite. I've smoked weed with my mom. So like
really?
So opposite where it's like
when did that first happen? Were you 19 reading the book and she just gave you a hit?
The first time I did it, I think was like 3 years ago probably. Well, it's funny because when I was 17, I found her weed. Role reversal.
Can I just ask you, I'm sorry, where are you from?
I'm from Simi Valley in California.
You're sort of a local.
Yeah, kind of local, about 45 minutes.
And that explains it.
That's
like
more country.
Your mom is
suburbia.
Cool. Like
my mom is a badass.
California.
She is cool. And it was so funny. It's like I remember I was actually driving in the car, and my boyfriend at the time was next to me, and he like opened up that center console, and he was like, "Since when do you start? When did you start smoking weed?" I'm like, "I don't smoke weed." And he pulled out like a tiny little pipe with like remnants of a bag of weed.
How is your mom like driving around with the weed in the car?
What happened? I had just like bought that car from my mom. Or, like we switched cars or something, and I was like, "Oh my god, it's my mom's weed." He's like, "No way."
Can you imagine if you got pulled over? No, officer, I swear,
it's my mom.
So what do you say? Did you just slide it and go, "We have to talk"?
You know what's so funny? I walked in and I was like, "Mom, I found your weed in the car." She's like, "Oh my god." She's like, "Don't tell your father." Which is funny because they had been divorced for like 20 years. So I was like, who cares if dad knows? He's like, and then she disappeared for like 10 minutes, and I like peeked outside, and she was checking the other seats of the car to make sure there wasn't other shit in
She's
there.
looking for her mushrooms. Like, "Oh, damn, she gets my coat."
Cushions and stuff. I was like, "What is going on?" And she was like, "Oh my god, I'm so embarrassed. This is such a role reversal. I should be finding your weed." It's like, "Mom, it's fine. Who cares?"
Was it good weed? Was it
I have no idea. I didn't smoke it. It was gone. It must have been good if it was gone.
So when did you first smoke together?
We about 3 years ago. So I'm 27. Maybe I was like 24.
Okay.
Yeah. She actually, I had a web series for a while with comedian Adrian Earhart, who was my roommate and good friend. I'm still a good friend from a few years ago.
The name sounds familiar.
Yeah.
Is she brunette?
She's a blonde, brown hair, kind of a combo. Okay. But my mom came over to like film a sketch with us, and it was a sketch about pot. And my mom got actually high for the taping of it, and so I'm like, all right. Then I smoked some with her.
Was it really good? Was it sort of priceless?
It was fun, and then we smoked again at Adrian's wedding, actually together. I've gotten high twice with my mom.
I didn't have a relationship with my sister, like a friendship, until we started drinking together.
Really?
Now I think there's probably a problem there. Like we don't really drink much together, and she's pregnant with her 4th, so she hasn't really had a chance to drink in like 6 years.
Oh,
like,
wow,
consistently.
yeah.
But yeah, I was like in college when we could have a beer and be like, "Oh, our family's fucked, huh?" I'm like, and it became a good icebreaker. I don't think it was good for like anything continuously, but like I feel like if you ever get any therapy with your family, just passing a joint would probably be the smartest thing to start with.
Probably.
Just to like chill out. I don't know.
Yeah, it's weird. Like my mom is totally fine with that stuff. My dad, polar opposite. Like Republican, conservative, drugs are bad, all that stuff.
What about though with it becoming legal? Is he more of like stick to the rule of law or?
That's a good question. I would say yes, like he doesn't care if it's legal. He just doesn't want any of his kids doing it, like that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Where it's like
Gateway drug.
yeah, it's the gateway. I don't know.
Weed makes you
what's
way
in that?
too lazy to do any other drugs.
I mean, I still feel like for the developing brain, it's not a good thing. Like if you're an adult and you want to smoke weed recreationally and you're not driving, I don't care. You know, you go for it. But like if my little brother, I would not want him smoking weed because his brain isn't fully formed yet.
Totally.
You know?
Wait till you're 27. Apparently 27 is when your frontal lobe stops developing.
Oh boy, I think we all missed that boat.
So it's like
I waited till I was like 22 or 23.
That's pretty good.
I was just like, look, I was illegal. I was just like a kind of brainwashed, straight-laced, just dude, Didn't smoke, never. I tried a cigarette like once.
Okay.
When I was drunk in Canada. Like, look at me. I had to leave the States.
Ooh, bad boy.
Like, get Marlboro, eh? Yeah, I don't know. So how long have you been with your boyfriend for?
We've been there about a year and a few months.
That was pretty fresh.
Yeah,
that's
nice
but then
and
for
fresh.
LA terms, that's a good.
We're practically married for LA
I feel like
terms.
once you make it past 3 months in LA, then it's like, oh, we got a fighting chance.
Yeah, it's like a real relationship.
How does he deal with you being a comedian? How does he take that?
He's great. He's so supportive. He's like, do whatever you got to do, even if I'm like, not home a lot. He's like, totally get it. No big deal.
What would you say are like the things that make it work? That really, like, what's going really well for you guys?
Well, we moved in together pretty early. It was like maybe 6 months in.
Okay, we got you there about that.
Yeah, you earlier than 6 months?
6, yeah, about 6.
Probably right around there. I'm not sure.
And how long have you guys been together?
Almost 4
Oh, that's awesome.
months. We started. Weekend.
You moving backwards.
No, we're roommates. Almost 4 years, and we
Wow,
were friends
that's
before
great.
that for a little bit. But
Nice.
she was kind of hard to get. So like, I
Well,
kind
yeah,
of.
look at her. Look at her
Courted
face.
her. Yeah, she didn't tell me she had a boyfriend though.
Oh.
See, that was if she told me she had a boyfriend, I probably would have been like,
What are you
fuck
talking
it.
Were
about?
you interested in him, or were you like,
No.
friend zoned him for a
Okay,
while?
well, the podcast has heard this story a few times, so I'll keep it brief. But we met on the set of a HBO miniseries called Mildred Pierce.
Oh, cool.
And I was in a shitty mood. He was way too loud for me, like way too, like over the top. Look at me, like that. But
Tell
I
it
was
faster because everyone's heard this story every episode.
But-
people want to know. But yeah, basically,
I'm gonna say this
she
like our
was, she was
third time
being a C next
But
Tuesday.
wait, what did you mean by like why I didn't? I had
I'm
a
just
boyfriend.
saying, like,
What?
when I made it clear that I liked you, you didn't tell me you had a boyfriend. You just
When?
like when I started trying to kiss you and stuff.
What are you talking about?
You weren't dating anybody.
Well, I was dating a few guys, but none.
And I was dating a few ladies. If you want to play that game, but you weren't. You were like,
I wasn't dating anyone seriously.
yeah, I know. But what I'm saying
I
is,
wasn't in a committed relationship dating someone else hanging out with you.
yeah, I know. I would have known that. That's why, like, when she asked me to go like into the desert one night, I was like, "Who else is going?"
The desert.
I was like, "Who else is going?" Because I will not be side bitch when some other guy tries to grab. No, nope.
Yeah.
Like, because you got to, as a guy, guys, if you're listening, you need to know, like, dating, having even like courting, having sex, whatever. It's all hard enough. You don't need to be competing with another guy because that's when the worst comes out of everybody. You have that old that old fable, like the girl was like had to choose between two guys and she's like, who can ever jump over this bridge wins, and then one guy dies and the other guy lives. It's like, fuck that.
That's not
shit.
a fable. That's not a story that anybody knows. Okay, on the other side of the coin is like until you're in a committed relationship, you should be dating around. And I'm not talking about sleeping around. I'm old fashioned in that way, but you're allowed to go to dinner with more than one dude. Like, don't put all this pressure on, like, oh, one guy asked me out. Now we're going to, like, you don't owe them anything.
Right.
There's no commitment there. So go to dinner with lots of guys.
I agree.
And see who you click with and meet new people. And it's not, that way there's not that weird pressure.
I think our generation, and I'm the oldest of 32, but I think our generation, we're very needy because we can look at social media, see what the other person's doing. I mean, if a girl's not getting back to me right away, I can look on her Snapchat and be like, oh, really? That busy? Cappuccino photos. Right. Great. Good. I see what I'm worth. $4.
It's crazy.
But if you're busy living your happy life, maybe the other person goes, oh, I haven't heard from Dave today. Like, I wonder, like, and I'm not to say you don't want to make the other person go crazy, but there has to be a value there. Like, stay busy enough that the person you like actually likes you back and isn't like scared. You know what I mean? And if you both cling to each other right away, that's going to probably lead to like other issues. Like, I think Tasha and I, we both have like issues with clinging. I think we've both like stuck to each other.
Stage 4 clinger.
But like
you guys are stage 4 clingers together? Like a clinger 8?
It's close enough that we're together and it's not like repulsive to each other. But I think we have to work.
That's just being in love, I think.
Well,
right? See how quickly he shut that down?
No. It's like Sam combust.
The first day we sort of became in a relationship. The first time we kind of like hooked up. The next morning she was like, "Oh, what are you doing?" I was like, "Oh, I got to go record this thing." And then she was like, "Well, I see you later." I was like, "Oh, maybe I'm going to go do this thing." And then she got like really bitchy with me and I was like, "Oh, fuck. Things have changed. I have someone to report to now." But I was like, I get it. And it's like I've mentioned all the time. It's like, well, communicate. Doesn't mean I always have to see each other, but I do know that Tasha does get, she's like chugging the red wine. Tasha does get mad if I choose like a work thing or a mic thing over her.
Oh, okay.
If I get a phone call from an agent who's like, "Yeah, you booked on this show," you'll be like, "You'll totally get it. I got to fly home. I got to go do this. Fine. Totally get it." But I have to be like, "Oh, I got to go do this thing," and maybe try.
No, you're misrepresenting. Here's what annoys me is when you're not properly communicating about plans. I just like to know in advance. Am I going to see you tonight? Should I cook dinner or not? Like let me know. If you're going to be doing mics all night, then that is perfectly fine with me. I understand that it's work. It doesn't bother me. I love sitting on the couch and watching Netflix. That's one of my top 5 things. So, I'm fine with that.
Top 3.
But you gotta let me know, and I don't like the last minute change. I don't know. Yeah, I'm doing one mic and then coming home. Oh, just kidding. I'm doing another mic.
Right?
No, that's not respectful of me.
That's fair.
And the thing
fair.
I'm guilty of is not wanting to like disappoint. That's like the worst. Okay. It really is the worst shackle
on
in
both
life.
ends.
I don't want to disappoint anybody.
The mic and
friends. They got a birthday. I'm like, oh, we gotta go.
Big people.
We gotta go to Channing's birthday. We have to go. Like Channing came to our like that, and that's just maybe that's part of being a friend. But yeah, like for me, it's I know that the more I spend beating my feet out there doing stand up, the quicker we get to a more successful level. Right. But in the short term, the happiness is derived from like being together watching Netflix or whatever it is that we're doing together, making soap, whatever. Some stupid shit we do. We'll give you some soap. We'll give you some soap. We got a ton of soap.
No way! Yeah. Oh my God, that's amazing.
We got some really good soap coming after.
Trying to set the bar high for your relationship. If you need a soap recipe.
We haven't started making soap yet, so I feel like I have some stuff to talk to him about.
Just slap some coffee scrub on his bare ass and get him going. We got that too. But it's. I mean, have you guys? How do you guys communicate in that regard of like what your agenda is for the week or the day?
He is very, he is so. When not to the point where he like doesn't care if he sees me, but he's very much like.
Did you say what he does? Is he in a creative field?
He's in finance marketing in the entertainment industry, which is super cool because he's just far enough removed from like the creative side to understand it, but not like
he has a reliable paycheck.
Yeah, exactly. He's steady, but he gets it, and that's the best.
Tasha's like, does he have any single friends?
I'll give you a couple. Yeah, people
under
the table.
We'll see who can jump over the bridge, me or this finance bro.
Yeah, get ready. Start doing some sit-ups. But no, he's very much like, hey, when I see you, I see you. We live together, so that's helpful. Like he knows he's going to see me every night anyway. He just doesn't know if I'm coming home for dinner or wait later than that. And I'll try to tell him as soon as I know, like, hey, just got booked on this thing, won't be home till this time, or the day before.
Is it
like,
weird
I have a show
though
tomorrow.
if he's like, all right, I'm going to go with my buddies then? Like, say it weird for you, or you just
because I am gone a lot, like running around doing crazy stuff. I'm so happy when he makes plans to go do something because I just feel like I feel less guilty. Like, oh, good, he's taking some time for himself to do something fun without me. Like, that's good.
That's where I'm at now with Tasha. Where if she's going to go with her girls or whatever, I'm like, oh, cool. Like, and she never works at night. You always have day jobs. But like, if you did work at night, you'd be like, oh, fuck, great, because I know you're doing something, and I don't feel like a piece of shit because my job's at night.
Right.
I mean, it's a night job.
Yeah.
It's like literally, what are you gonna do? You just have to. And it doesn't mean like I'm not psycho, like 7 nights a week, 3 mics a night. Like I'm over that.
Same.
But still, like if in the opposite, if I go 4 nights in a row, like I'm trying to think, my last show was Friday night. Today's Wednesday. Like that's not good. That's not good at all. Like I'm looking
you
at
do that to yourself, like, oh no, we're gonna get up there. Yeah. I'm in a weird spot that I've been very open about it on the podcast, and pretty much everybody I talk to. I'm kind of trying to transition out of stand up into acting more, acting and writing. So I'm in that phase where like I my heart isn't in stand-up anymore.
You're great. How long have you been doing it?
Thank you. It's been 5.5 years.
Okay, great. That's about where I am. Yeah, 5.5.
Cool. Yeah, like I like it. I see the value in it. It's gotten me any other opportunity that I've, that's the stand-up is the reason for everything.
How do you feel on stage doing stand-up? Do you love that part? Or is
sometimes I'm like, I just want to get through this and go home and watch TV with my boyfriend. Like,
but how about a good set? You had a great set the other night.
You know what? This is when I knew that I really wanted to cut back a little bit. I performed at a great venue. I had a great set. You know that set where you're just like, I killed it. And people were coming up to me afterward telling me they loved it. People wanted autographs and pictures.
No, I don't know. I was there with you. Autographs? No, I don't know.
But like,
keep telling me more.
They shouldn't want that. I'm like, I'm not anybody, but they were like, you're going to be famous in a couple of years. Can I get this from you and pictures? And I'm like, okay, this is weird.
That's amazing.
And after that, I was still like, you know what? I would have rather been doing anything else. That's when I knew. I was like, my heart is really not, for it to go for like on the best possible night for me to still feel like I don't really want to be doing this.
That's all right, though. It's a skill that leads to, it helps your writing. It helps your acting.
Yeah.
I mean, I just started taking classes again at Groundlings.
Oh, cool.
And that's like that's improv sketch. It's a completely different world from stand-up. Right. But at the same time, I'm looking around, I'm like, I've been doing solo shit for 5 years. Right. I think I can go up there on stage with one of you and find something funny to say.
Yeah, like you're just comfortable on stage.
Yeah.
And then just getting that
you learn, and then
as
an actress, I mean, you're gonna walk into rooms.
Stand-up teaches you vulnerability probably more than anything else. And that's completely necessary for acting. Any one of those things that you're doing is going to be teaching you something.
Teaches you to listen.
It's okay for your priorities to change.
Yeah. I beat myself up all the time.
Yeah, don't think of that. Comics, we put a lot of weight on it. If I were to say, like, I'm retiring, don't get me wrong, 20 people would be like, good riddance, fuck you. My mom would be like, fuck you.
Finally.
But they would also feel this bit of sadness because we put a lot of our own thoughts of failure onto others. And it's obviously not failing. It's like you guys, first of all, your podcast is huge. You guys have done it's new, right?
It's been great. Yeah, since June. So pretty new, like 4 months in.
That's a huge forum for
really
women.
Nice. Yeah.
I think it's such a great way to like find people that connect with you, and because it was a male, like it was a white dude thing.
Yeah.
You know? Like that's just what it was. Like it was the Adam Carolla's of the world, and Millie. I mean, here I am. Like if I can find a white guy to listen to me, I'm like, is anybody out there anymore? Because I know there's a richer, more successful, whiter guy doing the same shtick. Like I get it. Yeah. So who's actually listening to this? Where are you? But there you go. You've got 3 women all just being honest with how to improve.
Right.
That's a hard thing for guys to do. To just sit there and be like, this is why I'm a piece of shit. Because there's ego, and I think we can kind of address some of our issues, but it's hard. It's hard. Like I've realized recently that I'm afraid. I'm like partly afraid to just be goofy and silly. That's why I'm doing
on
the
stage or in person. Or
I still kind of like want to be the cool guy. Like I want to be liked too much. I'm not afraid to be like goofy on stage, but it's not a risky thing when I do it.
Okay.
Versus some people that can be all kind of like whatever, and I'm just like there's like a shame attached to like just being silly.
Right.
We're adults. We're supposed to act a certain way. I see the guy walking down the street yesterday, like tone deaf, screaming, some Halloween song. I'm like, I want to be that guy. He doesn't give a fuck. I don't know, like I'm not. Whereas I don't know. I mean, obviously,
so you're trying to overcome that fear of like giving a show what people think.
Well, what would you say is something that you have noticed from doing this like self-help series that you're doing? Like, what's your weakness that you're trying to overcome right now?
Mine, I have OCD big time, and just like negative thoughts constantly filtering through my head. I'm very much like obsessive, and I hyper focus on like one thing. Like if I feel like I made a mistake or had like with stand up, if I had like a weird offset, didn't feel right, I will like ruminate on that for way too long.
Just beat yourself up a lot.
Yeah, I beat myself up about everything.
How long is way too long?
I felt like I had an awful set at our self-helpless live show, and I'm still pissed off about it.
Really?
Yeah, like I'm like, it just felt weird. I didn't like it, and I'm just
weird
like,
can be a very fantastic thing.
Yeah.
If the audience is quiet but they're like into it, that's a very powerful place that we don't really pick up on. It's not a part of our gauge.
Totally.
Because they were like a very attentive. I mean, that was probably the best
they were so polite.
crowd I've seen in that space, because it's like kind of like it's the Improv, which is one of the greatest comedy clubs in the world,
right?
And it's like they're like bar room, so it's like just a different vibe kind of cocktail room.
Totally
But
different.
I thought, first of all, I thought you did great.
Oh,
I'd never
thank
seen
you.
you do stand-up before.
Thanks.
And you're in character. You guys all dressed up.
Yes.
I didn't recognize the character.
I was Spicoli from Fast Times at Ridgemont High.
Do you get that
No
reference? too?
idea.
Yeah.
No,
Nothing.
Sean Penn? No. Jeff Spicoli? All right. Well, I had a
Sean
bagel
Penn.
in my pants, if that's anything.
By the way, you heard it here first. Sean Penn's the next in the long list of dudes that are going down.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
just
Did you
saying.
see? No,
I
there
didn't-
really was an accusation today.
What?
geez.
Yes, there really was.
No.
No, just
Not
kidding.
Sean
No,
Penn.
I
That
get
was
him.
Jeremy
No,
Piven.
no. I get him confused with the guy who played Ben Stiller's dad in like Meet the Fockers.
Oh, De Niro?
No,
That was
The
De
older-
Niro.
oh,
no, the
oh.
other one, the short one, who I really like because Sean Penn actually is kind of a douche.
They should just make a list of the guys that didn't
Wait,
jerk
the
off.
guy, is that a guy
plants.
from Seinfeld?
No,
The
that's
dad
his
in
real dad.
Seinfeld?
That's his real dad. Seinfeld's dad is Stiller, Jerry Stiller.
Okay, gotcha.
On the show, it's Jerry Stiller,
Right.
and in real life, it's Ben Stiller's dad. Jerry
Oh,
Stiller.
man, this is a Stiller
Any-
mindfuck. A Stillerception right happening right
Anyway, the Stillers aren't touching anybody. It was the other guy. It wasn't De Niro. It was Hoffman.
Yes, Dustin,
Dustin Hoffman?
Yeah.
now. No.
Yeah.
No.
Someone posted, they're like, if I find out Santa masturbated onto
Should I
someone's
Google
presents-
it? Really?
No, don't. Who was it? It's going to be the same story. All right, Google it.
Somebody
Fine.
I
got
just want to know.
That's how people
maybe
can-
maybe I've got it wrong, but no, I think he like an intern or something back in like 72. I don't-
apologies to Sean Penn, by the way, for
Allegedly. This is all
Sorry.
allegedly.
But he's supposedly like a huge jerk,
Oh,
right?
really? I don't know.
He
I've
was
never
in
met
Rain
him.
Man, which filmed in Cincinnati.
What does that
That's
have to do with it?
literally
Great movie.
all I know about
Great
him.
movie.
But I'm pretty sure that he's a jerk
He's a
in real
Bengals
life.
fan. He jerked off onto an intern. Yeah, it's horrible.
Wait,
It's all
but
horrible.
what's
I'm
the
sorry
other guy
for all the men.
that
Jeremy
I'm looking?
Piven, he did
no,
something
he's
today.
he's also a
Brett
douchebag.
Ratner, whom I knew. You know Brett Ratner, right? He jerked off in front of Olivia Munn, and
What's
apparently
up with the jerking off in front of people?
yeah,
That is
she like
weird.
delivered food into his trailer, and he was in there, and he jerked off. And
What?
yeah, these
What?
dudes like that's
Oh.
talk about edging. These guys are like ready to go.
1991. She was 17.
Well,
Inappropriate.
Maybe he was gay. Who knows? Maybe that's all it was. I'm kidding. That was a reference to
The other
Kevin
harass-
Spacey. All right,
Yeah.
we got to move on because there's gonna be one of those after another, and people.
Yeah.
Like we all can agree it's horrible. It's gonna keep coming out. We're like in the middle of the purge.
Totally.
I don't know what to say about it other than don't
I
worry.
l-
It's
I
not just
love
Hollywood.
watching them come down. I
Yeah,
really do.
go
I
for
hope we
it.
don't get
gonna
burnout.
be constant.
But like, it's crazy that like it really has been a domino.
With Kevin Spacey, though, I was saying, look. Do the next season of House of Cards. Make the most like obvious.
Nobody wants to work
literally-
with him. They
but-
don't want to have to show up
but
on
listen,
set. and
Can't
be
they
off-
just get rid
Kill
of him
him.
and have
That's what I'm
Robin
saying.
Wright be the
Just
Well,
or
but here's
something?
the thing about that is like they're already halfway through the last season where they were going to wrap it up anyway, so they're going to
Oh.
like sneak in a murder.
Here's what I say.
and then
No.
wrap it up tidy. I just feel like
Now,
it's
here's
a
what
lot of
happens.
extra
Okay,
work for the
is
producers.
he playing the
I
president or what? He's playing the
I don't
president,
know.
right?
I don't watch the
I don't
show.
watch either.
He plays the president, I
Okay,
believe.
a page
I don't
walks
watch it either.
in and says the president has been assassinated, and then everyone looks at camera, including the boom operator, and then they go back to the scene, and they just you just call it out. He's done. Goodbye.
Right.
Finish the show.
You
The
could
whole
do
idea
that.
of like
But here's
hijacking the
the
whole
thing:
show
it's
because
like
one guy's.
you know that the writers already have been figuring out how to wrap up the series in a nice, tidy way. They got half a season left to do it, and now you're going to throw in a surprise
here's what
murder
you
of
do.
the main character.
Here's what you do.
and make it so that you don't have to shoot anymore with him. I'm just saying it's like
got a
it's
solution.
a little bit unrealistic.
What did
I
they-
really feel bad for Robin Wright because this is
Yeah.
like she's obviously killer in that role.
Right.
Fresh
But
Prince of Bel Air. What did they do? They switched the wives. Do you remember that? No
I
one does.
don't remember
They
that, but I
switched
do know
Aunt
that.
Vivian. They switched. They had a very dark
I
Aunt
hate
Vivian.
when people do that shit. They did it. You know,
Boy
I
Meets
love
World?
Shameless. Boy Meets World.
Boy
did it?
Meets World, the sister just disappeared one year, and then she came back like 3 years later, and they were like, "Haven't seen you in a while." And they ended up- yeah.
No, did you? Oh my god, I don't like when shows do that. Do you guys watch Shameless?
No.
No.
Oh
That's another
man,
one.
they
Sorry.
did that with the Mandy character, which I totally noticed. And it was, you know, what's sad is like when you like the actor who came before better, and then they they replace it with somebody who just you don't like as much.
Yeah.
That's what happened with Shameless.
But like, isn't that better than just canceling the production? Just get a Kevin Spacey ripoff. Get the next guy in line. Get the dude who he hit on. Get the Pratt guy, Pat, whatever the guy's name. Get Pratt.
This is your pity roll. Have fun.
But okay, so we can all agree they're all pieces of shit.
Yeah.
Purge. It's gonna happen. People are gonna have to do like huge background checks when they want to shoot something. I mean, now you've got films coming out. You got Batman's no longer Batman. You know what I mean? Ben Affleck's got all of his shit that's coming out. Like, it's a huge marketing issue. But what it goes to show is, look, everyone's got demons. Everyone, whether it's Hollywood or politics, that's all we know. That's the only celebrity we know.
Yeah.
But there's the plumbers. They're all pieces of shit. We got to just expose it on whatever level. Because the thing I feel worse. Like, it sucks to be Olivia Munn walking into Brett Ratner allegedly beating off, but like, how much worse is it for like the chick who lives with the plumber who's super abusive and there's no money and there's like no Twitter following to that's what I feel
but
for.
I think that's why people are trying to like call it out at the highest levels is like to give the less fortunate, in way of following and whatever, a sense of like community and a safe space where they feel like they can come out and they will be believed and they can go to the police and they will have people who are going to back them up.
Other terms we've been using are toxic masculinity and emotional labor. In your relationship, do you see emotional labor? Do you feel like you have to baby your boyfriend or do anything like that?
No, definitely not. Like almost the opposite, where I'm like, it's okay to have feelings, if he, I don't know, he hasn't like cried or anything in front of me yet.
Really?
He's not a crier.
Oh,
he's very,
boy.
he is so just wait.
I'm crying just thinking about it. Oh man.
He's so just like, we both are like, we're both just like very level-headed, even keeled. I've only cried because of TV shows.
Okay.
Oh, one time I cried because I was sad about my grandma, and then that was it. But like, yeah, we're both very similar in like, yeah, we're not criers. We're not.
You like to bottle up your feelings.
We totally bottle up our feelings, and they maybe come out in different ways. But yeah, I don't know. We just.
I was grazing through Tasha's Facebook. For some reason, I didn't get the notice when the hashtag #MeToo movement happened. She posted a very nice thing. I saw it 2 weeks late, and I just saw it, and I called her, and I was like, we weren't in a bad place, but I was working, and we were both kind of in bad moods for no reason. We just really, ugh.
Yeah.
And I called her, and I was like,
it's been a weird week and a half.
Yeah, but it's all good.
It's been something weird's going on.
She's stuck in the middle where this is normal. This is good. We make soap. It's fine.
Yeah.
I was like, hey, babe, I read your thing, and I'm sorry, and I just want you to know, like, I think you're a strong woman, and it's kind of like I felt weird saying it, but I was like, yeah, I just feel like saying it, and she was like. Or what did you even say to that?
I was like, why didn't you say anything 2 weeks ago when I posted it? Because I thought he liked the post. Well, here's what happened is I posted that, and like 2 hours later, you made a post asking your listeners about their definition of toxic masculinity, right? It was like crowdsourcing info for the podcast.
Which pissed off some feminists.
Which I had mentioned in my post. So I thought his post was a response to my post. And that's all I got about it. And he never asked me about it. He never said anything about it for 2 weeks. And I was just like, okay.
And then we both looked back and saw that I didn't actually like the post, which means I didn't read it, Anyway, the point was, I was like, look, why didn't you say something 2 weeks ago? Like, I felt bad that she didn't just address
feel
it.
Supported.
We're comedians.
Right.
You get on stage and someone sneezes, you're weird. You just point shit out as it happens. It's like an immediate ADD, like, oh, wait, you're laughing funny. What's the matter with you? Your boyfriend hates you. What's stupid, just hacky, whatever.
Right.
So I was like, why didn't you just say immediately what it was? And because even if you forget about it on your conscience level, it's gonna be in there.
Right.
Like, we both had to deal this past year with some deaths. So death of my friend, her grandmother, and like we both didn't probably do the best job of like consoling the other person. We tried really well, but that was like the next hurdle in a relationship where I've never been with someone before to console them over that. Like, it's a very specific thing that like sometimes you just need to know what to do because you mean well, but like, and then the other person's like, I get my love from you. Help me. Like, what? Like, it's just the bitterness. It can immediately form. Wouldn't you agree? Like, it can immediately. You don't know
the
what
bitterness, right? Right, Tasha.
You don't know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, no, I'm following sort of, but
I'm just saying it's got to surface like right away. Like, do you call things out? Like, if something happens, would you ever see like? It sounds like he's squeaky clean, but like, God forbid he posted on another girl's Instagram. Would you be like, what the fuck's that?
Yeah.
And then you find out it's like a old,
100%. Yeah. Like if something like that happens, I'm like, what's the fuck's going on here? But
and then you immediately know, and it's probably harmless or whatever.
We talk about it and it's over. Like we've always resolved it relatively quickly. I haven't had. That's when I knew, like, oh, this is a great relationship, because I've been in some awful ones. And
so, like, what's the negative response? Have you been in relationships where, like, you just you're not being honest?
Everything is a fight. Like, you ask them to do something and they don't want to, and then it becomes like an argument, and it's like a power struggle.
House. That's me asking Dave to do anything around the house. Take out the garbage. Well, it's only 65% full. That he literally said that.
I'm going to turn your mic off at 45 minutes. I think that's. Did I get rid of her? Tasha, can you talk now? Okay, you're off. Okay, no, I'm kidding. I look, whenever there's like a negative comment card in the old whatever, I'm always like, yeah, I'm defensive right away. But in the end, I wanna be better. I get defensive because I want to be a good boyfriend. I want to be a good guy. So if I find out I'm dropping the ball somehow, I'm like, what the fuck? No, I did this. I went to this dumb thing today. They had food there, but I went to this fashion event where you just show up to try on clothes, like some pop-up store. You don't even buy it. You just try the clothes on.
Yeah.
And they're like, hey, do you want to try anything on? I'm like, I'm all set. I'm going to keep eating the pastrami on a stick. Or whatever, I do what I think is the right thing. We talk about the 5 love languages. Like I do what I think is the right thing.
Podcast,
yeah. Oh, you did? Yeah, great. So
okay, go ahead. Sorry for interrupting you, Dave.
No, it's fine. Thank you. She knows she's on.
Look at
audio.
You guys. You guys definitely make soap together. I can feel
it. Good soap, by the way.
Great soap.
We'll get you some. Don't worry. But yeah, it's I do what I think is like giving her all these things. I always come home like late at night with extra tacos and she has a big work day tomorrow, so like I get her the cheese sticks and weird things that I'm like, I was in the Ralph's at 2 a.m. in a long line to get some stupid thing because I feel bad because I stayed out late. And it's like that's just not necessarily what she wants.
Yeah.
But it's still fine. It's like you're not going to return the things. But have you learned like what it is you want versus what you give?
Yeah. Oh man, the love language. That book, The 5 Love Languages, by is it Gary Chapman?
I don't know. We have it right over
there.
Gary
Chapman.
Yes.
It's a great book. I feel like it's a must read for just anybody, whether you're in a relationship or not, because it can help with familial relationships and friendships.
It solves almost all your issues if you're willing to admit that what you need out of love isn't what the other person needs.
Exactly. Like people give and show love and feel love differently. So I really like quality time and acts of service from my boyfriend, and he really likes physical touch and gifts. So like we are
very similar to us.
Interesting, really. You guys
I don't know. Well,
quality time and what was the other one that you felt?
Acts of service.
I like acts of service.
Okay,
taking the trash.
She likes acts of service and quality time is probably like 90% of what Tasha wants.
Okay. I'm gonna say you probably have a decent understanding of me, but I haven't read love languages, so I don't actually
know. Tasha? You're co-hosting the dating podcast.
Oh, there's also words of affirmation.
That's my big thing.
That's a good
one.
That's
what I
he
literally
likes those too.
All day long. It's the easiest thing in the world. You could tweet it at me. You could send me a meme. You could just say, my mom sent me a thing. She's really not good with her words, and she means well. But like all of my family came to a stand-up show, and she like sent me a little note that said, "Everyone loved you." Blah blah blah. Very simple. Very simple.
So nice. Yeah.
I want to burp. I'm not crying. It sounded like crying, but trust me, it was a wine burp. Sorry about that. But you know what I mean? Like that. That's still in my backpack. That's a gift that has kept on giving.
Oh, that's nice.
And that's very important to me. And I don't mean to throw you under the bus, Tasha.
But here we go. Strap in.
But,
I'm not good at words of affirmation.
She's really bad. I mean,
I just don't have practice. I wasn't raised in a household where that was a thing, so it feels very foreign and awkward and forced for me.
Self-help her with affirmations. I'll find a book. Anyone listening know of a good book for affirmations?
5 love languages. I'm telling you,
we have it.
You need to read it.
I started.
You read it?
Okay, here's my thing. I'm not a self-help reader.
Yeah,
I like fiction and I like nonfiction if I'm learning something interesting.
Right.
I don't like self-help. I don't like
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
At all.
Yeah.
I'll read, like I read The Superior Man because I was getting insight into what you were reading.
All right, I will give you. I'll get you guys a copy. I don't know if I have one or not because I'm always like, I'll give you a copy. I probably have given out mine, but it is an amazing book. I always reference that
Never
women.
Heard of it.
We read it separately right before we started dating.
Okay.
And don't get me wrong, she'd be like, babe, chapter 7, you could really work on. Like, but
that's my motivation for reading self-help is to help somebody else.
Give him some tidbits.
Yeah.
It runs in the other direction of what a lot of PC culture is saying. It's saying feminine energy, masculine energy, it's different, it's equal, but it's different. And what a lot of people are saying, no, we're all the same. It's social conditioning. It's like, no, trust me, like men, it's okay for them to feel someone else's feminine energy. It doesn't mean they're trying to fuck them. By restricting all of that, they're going to be in some weird chat room somewhere. You know, like you need to let like it's a very transformative, like spiritual book on kind of how to just be.
Okay, interesting. Yeah, I would love to read it. I was going to say, if you don't like self-help or you don't want to read the 5 love language book, there's a great quiz online. You can just take a simple quiz.
That's what I
that'll
need.
Tell you.
Just give me the 5-minute
your
quiz.
love language is.
Oh, I took it and sent it to her.
Oh, okay.
You did?
I sent it to you.
No,
and it was
you
like
didn't.
affirmations. I was gonna ask you to take the quiz beforehand, but
I
figured,
did it.
Yeah, I figured you already would.
I did it. Yeah, I got acts of service, words of affirmation, and what was the other one? Quality time.
Were you
Those
surprised?
3.
Or
Not at all. Totally
it's pretty
hit the
obvious
nail on the
when
head.
they ask you the questions. It's like, would you rather spend time or get a gift? It's like, spend time. Like,
exactly.
I would
It depends
take
on the
time
day.
I'm not,
So you might have
Depends on the gift.
Ones. Yeah.
I'm not a gift guy. Here's how I know I'm not a gift guy because although I do like a random as fuck gift. Like if she came home, she'll come home from a fitting somewhere with like new Hurley shorts, and I'm like, fuck yeah, like I wasn't expecting it. That's good. But for Christmas, she's like, I want to do our gifts. What do you want? I was like, let's just put our money together and go on vacation somewhere. Like, what are we doing? We don't need it. You've seen our place. There's no room for anything.
Right.
We don't need anything. We buy whatever we need. It's that everything we need is on Amazon, one click.
Right.
So for me, it's like I'd rather have the quality time than the gift if it's one or the other. But if it's a random gift that you pick up because you thought of me, then that's more of an affirmation, I think, than anything. Because you're like, I saw this, it made me happy, blah, blah, blah.
Well, technically, it's a gift. But sure.
But I don't need gifts that like...
It's a gift with meaning. It's a gift with thought.
So so Tasha, so what's the hang up? Because you haven't read the book now, so we can't even go too deep. But what's the hang up with your family not giving affirmations? Because they haven't given me any affirmations, Delanie. I haven't gotten anything. They asked me about my side jobs, and I'm not throwing your family under the bus because they're very good people.
Yeah.
They take us on these nice vacations, the most thoughtful gifts. They give us Christmas gifts that are very nice.
Yeah.
All that. But like, they don't ask me about stand-up. I feel like shame because I feel like they don't know what I do. I know they don't ask you either.
But I've explained this 10,000 times. They don't ask you about it because they don't understand it. The same way that they don't understand what I do. And, they care about, of course, my happiness and well-being, and they ask me things about what I do, but they don't live this life. They don't live in California. They don't have creative aspirations. They will put tremendous value on some crappy job that I do, thinking that it's Hollywood stardom,
right?
And not realize that that's the shittiest job that I had this month, and I don't care about it at all,
right?
They don't really understand the difference. So it's the same thing with you. Is they just don't understand it. They want to ask you about things that they understand. So they understand, some stuff that you do, but they don't necessarily get all of it. And they're not trying to be.
And I know they mean well. They'll ask me about a side job I did, and I'm like, the last thing I want to talk about is my side jobs. And of course that means I put shame into it. But it's well, that's because I want to talk about the creative stuff that I'm doing that's actually really challenging.
Right. No, that I get that though, because that makes sense. I don't know if I had a lawyer in my family, I wouldn't know what to ask them.
Right?
I know nothing about law school. I know nothing about lawyering. I'm how's wearing a suit and tie every day, Bob? I don't know.
Or my dad, I don't even know what his job is, really. I just know he's always worked with computers. My whole life he's had a job that has something to do with computers. I have no clue what it is.
Yeah.
I have no clue what his job is. I don't know what his title
is. Your family
I don't know
that is
anything about it. I just know he does stuff with computers.
Wow.
And that's it.
So what? So with me, I've told you, and I do it with love, Delanie. I'm not super crazy, but even yesterday, I was like, what I need is this, and I would say it, and then it'd be radio silence, and I'd be like, you still didn't do it, and me begging you for something is really sad.
But doesn't that feel really you're just holding me hostage, asking for a compliment, then it's like I'm just gonna make something up. It's not even gonna be real.
No, you just go, Dave. You know what? Look. Of course, I know you're X, Y, and Z. You're doing the right thing, and don't get me wrong. It's not every day you need a compliment, but when the wells run dry, you're doing your 50-hour week side job. You're like,
your love tank.
Justin Bieber walks by me yesterday. I make eye contact with him. We're both alone in Santa Monica. He walks by me, and don't get me wrong. I'll be honest with you. I'm a big aura guy. I liked him.
Yeah.
I liked him.
Yeah.
And I was always kind of like, oh, what a prick. You see him skateboard this time.
I'm kind of into Justin Bieber.
Yeah,
I'm a believer.
I'm a believer.
It's like my own jealousy of like, oh, fuck this guy. But then I'm like, oh, shit. Like, here's this kid. Like, dude, what's he worth? $150 million? Who cares? What's the difference? He's throwing eggs at people's houses. Doesn't give a fuck.
Right.
Walks by. We smile. I was going to give him the bro nod before I knew it was him. Because I was like, when someone walks by me and there's no one else around, I'm not like a psycho LA person who doesn't make eye contact. I'm like,
oh, yeah. Like, looks at your phone and like pretends like you're doing
the other person doesn't exist.
I could tell in the peripheral. I was like, I was just a dude walking up to me. I was like, oh, hey, man. And I was like, what the fuck? And I look around, and like it was definitely him. And I was like, cool. Oh, fuck my life. Like, I'm doing my $10 an hour, a little more than that, but side job. And I'm like, oh, this dude's just frolicking. But like we're literally both walking and breathing the same air, and it's kind of just a perspective thing. But I was just kind of feeling like, man, I'm not. I'll get it on stage. I'll have a great set. And then afterwards, I won't hear anything from my girlfriend. And I'll be like, well, did she not appreciate my set? It sounds psychotic to say, but it takes a little balls to admit it, that's like a hang-up.
Yeah, no, totally. I totally get it. I feel like when my boyfriend doesn't like pick things up in our room, I'm like, oh my God, he doesn't care about me. Like he's not thinking about me. He doesn't care about anything I say or my feelings about anything. Like to him, it's like, oh, I just left my socks on the ground. I totally forgot. I did something else.
It's like, you don't care about me.
Yeah, but it's like,
our happiness.
This is important to me and you're not doing it. What else are you not going to do in our relationship?
But that seems like a lot more work than just be like, Good set, Dave. I had my show Friday night.
Picking up your socks is more work.
There's nothing worse than telling people like, I did really well, but like I had these audience eating out of the palm of my hand. I was only the host, and I have the whole show. I fucking did great, and the only thing I heard out of Tasha at the end of the night was, "Hey, Kyle had a good set." Fucking Kyle had a good set.
I did not come from a family of stroking egos. We don't talk about ourselves like that. We talk about other people.
She said it. Stroking egos.
The stroking
why
egos.
Why is it quote unquote stroking? Because this is important, and I love you to death. So I can point at you. This is important. Why is it stroking my ego that's how I feel love? Like, am I to be shamed that I really love when people tell me I'm on the right path?
It's just completely different from what I know and understand. It's completely different from the way I was raised, and I'm doing my best, trying to give you compliments.
I know you are.
I think I do a good job. But it is very hard for me. It's something I have to think about.
Right.
Just the same way that you walk through the house and don't see the tornado of mess that you leave strewn behind you.
Right. You gotta be trained.
It doesn't occur to me that you need a compliment after your set, because to me, you did it great, and you did great. And like, if you were like feeling sad, I'd be like, oh, let's give you a pick me up. But like, you did great. You felt like you did great.
It's a little weird after stand up, right? So it's a high to an immediate and then if the next comic does well, you go, is he doing better than I did? And it's like you want them to, but at the same time, I'm also like, what like. I did good, right? Like, you ever have that set where you're like, I did good? Right? You're doubting the set you just had, and I thought you had a really strong set.
Thanks.
So
I was just like,
it's a natural thing.
It was crap. But
very raw place we put ourselves. I mean, not to make it sound any more glamorous than what it is, but it's like you're alone on stage. Like, it's like when you see someone do a play or whatever, everyone's hugging after their bouquets. You were this, you were that. Oh, they're gonna love you, darling. This and that. Tasha took an improv class. Everyone gets food after, and they stroke each other's dicks. We did so well. I get that. But as comics, you're like,
oh, that was just me. I'm going to go home now, I guess. All right, see you all later.
I've had that night where you have a good set and like I'm out of town and I'm like, I guess I got an hour to drive by myself. But don't get me wrong, I'll bask in the good set. Like, I'll feel it. Like, I felt good Friday night. Like, no, usually when it's a good set, I'll feel that high afterwards. But I'm like, I want her to realize, like, don't get me wrong, like, I'm pretty sure I fucking dusted those other guys. Just so you know. You don't have to tell me. I know I did. And then there's shows.
But that's the thing. You just said you don't have to tell me. I know I did.
But that's my ego.
And that's
my ego.
But that's where I've sort of that's the space that I live in. Is like I don't need to tell him. He knows.
What if Tasha was just like, "Hey, you look really handsome today"? Would that do the same thing for you, or does it have to be about stand up?
Handsome works. Whenever she's like, I was carrying the dishes in the other room and I'd been doing arms. Baseball season's over. My arms getting a little stronger. She was like, babe, your arms look good. And I just like put the dishes away. Then I like walked back by the mirror and I was like,
so it could be about any type of thing.
Right. Yeah.
It could be about anything.
I mean, the level of idiot, like dudes were so simple. Like, really, compliment my looks. I mean, I'm dating a girl who's obviously very like far more good looking. Like it's a career.
I know. I keep like looking at your face. I'm like, I hope she doesn't think I'm looking at her face too much. But I'm like, oh my God, she's got such a beautiful face. Your eyebrows and eyes are so perfect. You look like that. I'm sure you probably get this all the time. That one girl who I'm not going to remember her name, that Victoria's Secret model.
Cara Delevingne.
You get her probably all the time.
All the time. I mean, less now that she shaved her head. But yeah, I do get that all the time.
I mean, yeah.
But so
you're right.
So I mean, she, like and I'm not really insecure with that. Like I'm kind of on my path, know what I'm doing. Like I feel sexy doing what I do, creativeness.
Yeah.
I wouldn't feel sexy if just standing there, it being in a photo. I just wouldn't.
Yeah.
I know like the audience, like I'm making the audience laugh. That's my thing. But yeah, it's still like I gotta deal. It's not a huge, like I said, it's that getting compliments from her, affirmations from her is more important to me than like if she shoots with a hunk. Like I guess she's gonna shoot with a hunk. That's fine.
Lots of hunks.
There's hunks out there.
Lots of hunks.
There's hunks
Lots of like 19-year-old, very muscly college kids.
She shot with this dude and he was like ripped and strong, and I was like, and I saw his Instagram and I'm going through his photos. I'm like, oh, fucking douchebag. What a loser. And then he had like a video of him playing guitar and singing, and then I clicked on it and it was like the best voice. This dude can sing. Fuck.
Shit.
But it's like, you can't.
So it could be like, babe, thank you so much for making that dinner. That dinner was so good. Like that could be enough of a compliment for her to give you to where like, okay, I got validated today.
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
If
that's
he
pretty
says
good.
so.
She doesn't believe me.
You
but
know
like
what?
and I feel weird after. If and when I get a compliment, I deflect. If a
that's
stranger's
probably
like,
why you're not getting more compliments.
Yeah.
No.
Thank
But like
you.
I still need it. But like someone the other night was like, we thought, audience members like to be like, you're better. Like sometimes I'm like, we liked you the best, and they mean well. But it's like, someone
you're
said
putting
that,
somebody else
and I was
down
like,
right next to you.
Yeah, and I was like, come on, like I'm always gonna be like, but in the inside I'm like, banked that, gonna mention it on the next episode. Like I'm gonna. I don't know if I'm crazy, but like I just need it and I can deflect it. I got it. Well is full. Bye.
Sure. Oh, something that my boyfriend and I did, because the picking the things up really started to get to me. Like that was the only thing that we were bickering about was the stuff. And so we just made a compromise. I'm like, look, before you sit down to watch TV every night, could you just take 5 minutes to go around and pick your stuff up? Just 5 minutes.
Guys love that.
And it's been so good. Every time before he goes to sit down and watch TV, he'll do a lap and put things away.
And he
it's
knows
and
you're
I come
gonna
home
leave
happy.
him alone.
And he knows I'm going to leave him alone. I come home happy. I feel taken care of.
What they'll say is that that's emotional labor. You shouldn't have to tell him what to do. That's what they'll say.
Right.
I think men love lists. We love being told what to do.
Well, what we don't love having to tell you is over and over and over again. Like they discussed it. They came up with, this is our 5-minute thing.
Yeah.
We've discussed it. We've come up with PBR, pre-bedtime ritual.
PBR.
Same thing.
There you
It's
go.
Here's
make
what
a
happened.
laugh.
We kept on passing out on the couch, and then I can pass out on the couch while I'm still snoring, drift over to the bed, and be asleep with it. And then she needs like.
And like then I have to pick up everything, do the dishes, all the stuff I'm doing by myself while he just
I'll never have to do that for me. But if that's what makes her happy, PBR.
It's how she feels loved.
Yeah.
So like if I know that my boyfriend feels loved by me telling him that he looks good, or by giving him a head rub, or bringing home like gummy bears as a treat or something, like I'm gonna do that. It's not something I don't.
We're so simple. Oh my God, gummy bears! Yeah, I love a gummy bear.
He fucking loves gummy bears. But like I don't want to go to Ralph's to get gummy bears. I think it's a stupid snack. I don't feel like going out of my way to get you a treat. Like but I'll do it because I know.
You keep some Gushers $50 in your purse. You're a kept woman. You're all set.
It's like, yeah, I know he's going to appreciate that and feel loved by that. I think it's dumb, but you might think cleaning up is dumb, but you know it's important to her, so you do it.
If something's going wrong in our place and I got to go get, a $6 thing of flowers or what the price doesn't matter, whatever flowers going right are. Yeah. That to me is
you don't know.
worth its weight in gold, because it's just like, conversation's over. I brought home flowers. Like, I'm not bringing home flowers, be like, you done, bitch? Are we good? Like, I'm bringing home flowers like, oh, like, I love you. Now you see, like that. The flowers mean nothing.
Nice.
Nothing to me.
Yeah.
They mean nothing to me.
Right.
But like, my buddy got in a fight with this girl, Darren and Claire, and Darren and he was like snapped at her, and then I was like, dude, just. Buy her flowers, like it's a start, it's a gift. It serves multiple purposes. You thought about her, you picked. It's like a tangible, like they know you went and got them. Yeah. It wasn't like you're not Venmoing someone $7.
Right.
You're going to get them. It's an act of service in a way, whatever it is.
Sure.
So he did that, and he's like, "Oh, it actually worked kind of well." And I was like, "Yeah, it's a thing. It's a reason we have flowers. Like,
it's the only reason we have flowers and cut them out of their home.
And flowers and gushers and gummy bears. Yeah. And it's just different things we can all pick up just to say, I love you. Here's how you know. Are we good again? Because in the end, I'm sure with your boyfriend, Tasha and I, we all just want to be happy.
Yeah.
And it's amazing how simple things can get in the way of that.
It's really simple once you understand how to, give and receive the love. Like, it's super nice. Like, so like if he was cleaning up and he just like Dave was just like grabbed a couple things off the table but not everything, would you be happy with that, or does it have to be spotless? Like when he's cleaning it, is it like, oh, I can see that he tried and he got what he thought was important?
Will I be less mad than if he hadn't tried? Sure. Will I still be annoyed that he didn't bother to use his eyeballs and see that the job wasn't done?
Well, we might. This is for another episode because we're running out of time here. But we might be onto something that like the bar is set pretty high for you, Tasha. The bar is set pretty high, and I do want to hit it all. But even today, getting ready, I'm like, like I'm setting the physical equipment up while I'm dusting, and this other thing's happening, and it's no one's working harder than the other. But she looks over and sees me on my phone. I'm updating the software
But you asked what else you could do, and he wasn't setting up. He was watching the game, and I had been like, babe, you can take out the trash. It's 65% full. Yeah, okay, that was a real thing, and I said you could sweep because I I made our Halloween costumes were really cool. I sewed lights onto just like black sweatshirt and leggings so that we could be light up stick figures. It was really cool.
That was pretty cool.
But I spent all this time sewing on these stupid lights, and then it's like, okay, but now I want my leggings and my sweatshirt. Yeah. So like I had to cut all the lights off. So there were like black threads from me like unclipping both of our outfits. And so I told him to sweep the black threads above the floor. And he's over here.
Black threads in a dark room. I'm blind as shit. I'm like, I think I got them all, honey.
You want to turn the light on?
He didn't even try. The broom was still just sitting in the corner, and he was like watching the game and on his phone. So don't try and say like.
You just swept me under the rug. That's what you just did.
I think you missed it by a thread.
Hey, we actually got to go on that note. We're well over. We're at an hour and 7, so we're going to take off. Yeah, flies by, right?
Yeah.
Come back on again and help us out.
I would love to have you back.
Fun.
You're a great therapist. Thank you.
Oh, man.
That's why we sat you in the middle.
Self-help stuff, man.
We're not recording to anywhere right now. This was just
a mediator.
How much do we owe you?
I really enjoyed it. Yeah.
We got it. Everyone listening, self-helpless.
Yeah.
On everywhere, right? Go check that out.
iTunes, YouTube, Google Play, Laughable.
I got to listen to the live episode because I had to leave halfway through, but it was a fun episode. You all were doing stand-up, and then you were answering people's questions and like stuff like that.
Exactly, yeah. We answered audience questions and did some, audience quotes and stuff like that. Yeah.
And you guys have amazing guests. You have some top name people.
Brian Regan, Nikki Glazer was just on. That's coming out soon. Gad, we talked about. Yeah, we're getting some fun people.
Awesome. So for everyone who's listening, when this is over, if you've already subscribed to us, make sure you do all that. Go over to Self-Helpless, check them out because they're 3 amazing comedians. I don't know what you would all call yourselves. You're all just funny, kick-ass women doing your thing. Kelsey's already been on the podcast. Taylor, I've done a show with her, but I didn't really know her. I did that creepy thing the other night where I had to like introduce myself because I don't want to hit you guys up and not know you because I feel like every other weird dude who's like, I did my podcast. You know what I mean? Like, cause that's kind of like, I think a lot of dudes, it's like kind of like their thing, like, hey, do this. And it's kind of,
No, I so appreciate it. I knew who you were before I met you, though, because I had heard Kelsey talk very highly of this podcast and of you. So I already
Kelsey and Kane, yeah, they came. We took them to Magic
Castle with us.
Oh, dude, it's so fun. I love that place. Cam, my boyfriend, and I, we love that place.
Okay, good. You go. Yeah, Tasha's she's been a magician's assistant for some.
Yeah, in a previous life,
she's been cut in half before.
Yeah, so.
Do you still do it there?
No,
but she knows some of the guys, and she knows some amazing magicians. So when they're in town, you got to come.
We would love to go back.
It's cool to go. You put a suit on, you look sexy, you walk in, no cell phones.
It is the greatest date night out ever.
It really is.
I have not had a more fun time anywhere else.
We always go for we're going to go for 2 hours. We got early morning.
You have like 12 hours.
My eyes are blown out of their sockets. Like, what the fuck am I watching?
So good.
It's so good.
Yeah.
Well, how can people find you aside from the podcast?
Yeah.
Just so we can.
Besides, the podcast, DelanieFischer.com and at Delanie Fischer across the board on social media, Instagram, Facebook.
And that's Fischer with a SCH.
So my name is Delanie, last name Fischer.
There you go. So go check her out. Tell her you heard her on the podcast. Go subscribe to her podcast. Also, subscribe to Laughable. You're on Laughable, right?
We are on Laughable.
So the cool thing about Laughable is if you're a fan of Delanie or of me or of whoever, you get notifications when we're on other podcasts.
Yeah,
so if people are subscribed to Kelsey, they'll see that she did our podcast and also Self-Helpless. It's a great way to listen to episodes and also reconnect. So if you're listening on any other app that's not Laughable, go download it if you have an iPhone. Android is not out yet. I'm telling you this. I get nothing out of it. You can subscribe, and it's just such a better.
It's a good way to follow people you're into.
It's a way better user interface and all that. Anyway, we're at an hour 10. Thank you so much for coming on.
I've got a shout out.
A quick shout out. And then we'll
to Vic Gior, VICGIOR. Thanks. He wrote on my, she wrote on my Instagram today, and she wants a solo episode. So, babe, maybe you're just gonna have to set it up and let me be for a minute.
I'll take that hour and take a nice shower by myself. I'll set it up.
You can start cleaning.
Huh?
There you go.
Clean the tub while you're in there.
No, she lives in LA. She's an LA person.
Oh, so awesome. Yeah. So thank you. I really appreciated your comment.
And I think it's Victoria, right? So Victoria, go check out Self-Helpless now. I'm sure you've enjoyed this episode. So look, we got you one download right there.
I like it. Thanks, Vicky.
Anyway, that's the episode.
Victoria, thank you
so much for
much.
being on. Delanie, Tasha, Courtney, Dave, Neal here. This is Sex Actually, the podcast. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
I wish we had a room where we could just leave. I really want to get the arm mics where you can swing away. They're really not expensive. You kind of got to pinch it in.
Not a comment.
Yeah. Anyway, we probably so this it's still recording, but I'm sure that it didn't live stream right. So I'm gonna I'll re-upload it. But
look at this Victoria.
She's sweet.
This is the coolest thing I've ever seen.
Pizza wings.
Pizza wings. Cool. Victoria, you're so awesome. Pizza wings.
Everybody needs the pair.
I need to find these pizza wings.
That sounds like a Silver Lake thing.